Hey guys, Hop here for TFBTV. Luke and I took a trip down to Florida in December to check out some new suppressors from Gemtech and a new suppressor-optimized AR upper receiver group from Smith & Wesson. While we were down there, we also got some pistol shooting tips from Jerry Michalek, which has nothing to do with this video. I just wanted an excuse to show you some clips of Jerry Michalek.
Alright, I had to think about it a little bit. Let me do you two on each, same splits. So that's about what you want to try to do.
The new Gemtech suppressors are really high tech, and the new suppressor optimized upper is completely unlike anything else on the market. You guys might know that I'm not easily impressed, but I thought this stuff was really cool, and we got a chance to talk to Anthony with Gemtech to really pick his brain about the finer details. If you're a suppressor nerd, you will definitely appreciate this interview. Now, one more Jerry Michalek clip to play us out, and then on to the interview.
Stand by. Oh, you're showing off, 223.
Hey guys, Hop here for TFBTV. We are in Florida checking out a couple of new suppressors from Gemtech and a new suppressor optimized upper system from Smith & Wesson and Gemtech. Talking to Anthony with Smith & Wesson and Gemtech to kind of give us the overview. I was kind of hoping you would start with the suppressors and then we can move into the upper.
Absolutely. So the two suppressors that we're showing here today is our Neutron 762 and our Abyss 556. What separates them both is Neutron is a tubeless, all-welded design. It's kind of like your 30 generalist can. It's the can that you want to put on everything. Rated up to 300 Win Mag, rated down to 5.7 by 28. We've tested all the way up to 300 Win Mag. Is rated for a 16-inch barrel on a 300 Win Mag, but we're currently, as we're here talking, we're pushing for 300 PRC because that's sort of the biggest, baddest, 30 cal Magnum round out there right now. And we'd really like to get that can out to the PR, for like the PRS shooters and for those real long-range guys, because the baffle design of Neutron lends itself to accuracy. In terms of weight, it's 14.5 ounces with no mount. With our new ETM system, which is a pretty trick QD system, you're at about 18.5. Neutron has about double the wall thickness of a lot of other versatility-focused suppressors in its class, but because the mounting system itself, the mount is about 20% less weight than competing designs, and the muzzle device is only 2.5 ounces. It weighs as much as an A2, so that's about 45% less weight than competing designs. And with Abyss 556, it is a 556 optimized suppressor. It uses our new reduced back pressure system. It's rated down to a 7-inch 556 on full auto. It's a 3-inch 5.7 by 28 full auto, and it's a 7-inch 6-arc full auto. Our durability testing for this was very extreme. 90 round strings of full auto fire, all the way up to 10,000 rounds. It's more tougher than any carbine you're going to put it on. And what it does that no other suppressor does is it balances muzzle flash, sound, and reduced back pressure all at the same time. When a lot of suppressors go for reduced back pressure, they have to sacrifice a lot in the sound department. And we really wanted to look at this as a total signature suppression system where sound was important.
These are both reduced back pressure, but not like super low. They're not like flow-through cans. It's more like you're just using some tricks of baffle design and end cap design to reduce back pressure while still maintaining kind of the flash suppression and sound suppression of a more traditional can.
Yeah, so Abyss is a little bit different in that regard, is that there is no hard wall between the tube itself and the baffle. There is actually a triple thread that loops around the exterior of those baffles and the interior of the tube. And what that does is, instead of gas just hitting a hard wall and then lingering in the suppressor, it always has a place to go. But we're controlling it, very much. And each of the baffles themselves are also vented, so they also vent back into that triple thread that spirals around the suppressor. And what we do is instead of just letting that gas, just passing that gas through the suppressor, what we do is we use it for our muzzle signature suppression system. And how that works is we have a two-piece end cap design where the end cap, when fully threaded on, does not seat completely flush against the end of the suppressor tube. And that allows for gases to actually be ported right at the back of that flash hider end cap and to escape around the suppressor. And then what our flash hiding, the core of the end cap does is as the bullet passes through, it has 3 ports. And as the bullet passes through, those are sucking gas back into the front of the suppressor. And then at the same time, like I said before, that gas that's being directed from all those channels going out to the suppressor is being recirculated back into the front of the suppressor. So it's using the reduced back pressure system to constantly choke out the atmosphere in front of the suppressor. So a lot of these gases leaving are already combusted. They can't be combusted anymore. So we're just constantly reintroducing that combusted gas into the front of the suppressor and the spaces around the front of the suppressor. And that's really how the flash mitigation system works. And it works from the first shot to the last. It's very, very impressive. I'm really stoked about our Elite taper mount. We call it ETM because it really reduces the overall length when you mount it to the end of the barrel. For example, Abyss is, with the QD mounted to the suppressor, is about 6.8 inches overall. But when mounted to the gun with the ETM, you only add about 4¼ inches of overall length. So you're basically getting, a full-size signature suppression in terms of the added overall length, about the same as a compact suppressor. And I mean, and the flash hider is phenomenal. The flash hider weighs about as much as an A2, but performs like a full-size 3-prong flash suppressor. It uses sort of the same idea that we did with the muzzle flash technology on the suppressor. There are, might get this wrong, but I believe there's 5 ports on top that sort of fan out. And what that does is, that happens before, it reaches the bird cage of the suppressor, and that just shoots gas in and around in front of that flash hider to, again, add already combusted, gases and atmosphere in front of that mount, so that we're choking out the atmosphere. The flash hider is super, super impressive. You guys saw the side-by-side on that yesterday. It's, I mean, it's not even close. We wanted these muzzle devices to, like, you should want one of these because it's a really great muzzle device. It's a really great break and it's a really great flash hider. Even if you're, haven't, stepped up to the suppressor, plate as it were yet.
If somebody has, a huge investment into muzzle devices, or like a lot of times like rifles that have been pin and welded with other, muzzle devices, it is also hub compatible, right? So they can just swap out their existing pile of mounts.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, yeah, it's a 1.375 by 24 threaded. That's becoming sort of the industry de facto standard. And yes, you'll be able to use these 2 new suppressors with a variety of mounts that are already out there on the market. And also, if you're looking to change up your mount to ours, we'll also be offering our mounts and muzzle devices as accessories.
Shooter, stand by.
Oh, I was supposed to go right to left.
No, that's not a penalty.
Oh.
No, it's not a penalty. Huh? That was 8:30.
Okay. 5-minute penalty. It's okay.
Yeah.
So these suppressors don't necessarily have to be used with your guys' new suppressor optimized upper, but I think the upper was also a really cool idea. I was kind of hoping you could give us the down low on that.
Sure. Yeah, so the project started with the Gemtech adjustable bolt carrier for suppressed and unsuppressed shooting. And for a variety of reasons, we couldn't make or sell any more of them. And what we just, it was such a popular product, and it really just stuck in our minds that people want just like not even just a suppressor product, but like an AR-centric product that's going to reduce gas blowback, have a better suppressed experience on the AR, because the AR was never intended to be suppressed from the get-go. And what it does is it has our new G-Vac barrel profile and our new G-Vac gas block. And what that does is it pretty much operates on the principle of a bore evacuator on a tank or like a mobile field gun. If you guys can, picture that dome that's on like the top of like an Abrams gun. And what that is it's an expansion chamber there's 2 ports in the baffle, so might not be a great visual, but essentially there's 2 ports that are facing forward. And as the bullet passes through, there's, low pressure inside that chamber. So then high pressure wants to go to low pressure. So then this expansion chamber, gets to absorb all this gas and sort of take a lot of pressure that would usually be lingering in the barrel and store it there. Then as the bullet leaves the muzzle of the suppressor, again, high pressure wanting to go to low pressure, those gases are released in the, with these 2 ports pointed forward and out of the muzzle. And what that does is it reduces gas blowback tremendously. We want it to feel good, like with a suppressor on there. We attacked this by assuming at all times that there's going to be about a pound on the end of this muzzle. It's a profile that we developed. It shifts weight back towards the chamber and makes it lighter in the front. And then we actually did some contouring around where the bore evacuator or G-Vac gas block is. And then the bolt carrier, it's a really nice bolt carrier group. Mil-spec materials in QC, HP, MP tested. And that also features 2 other advancements to help with, functioning while under, a lot of fouling or in dirty or dusty environments. There are actually grooves machined into the rear of the bolt carrier group. And what those act as is kind of trenches that oil or fouling, mixed with oil can collect in, and it keeps it off the bearing surfaces of the bolt carrier group. And we did the same thing with the firing pin. The firing pin is also grooved, and what that does is, again, allows fouling and junk to collect in there, keeps it off the bearing surface of the firing pin. So when you pull the trigger, you get consistently strong firing pin strikes.
So you mentioned in terms of durability of the gas block and like maintenance, that the G-Vac system, essentially, that you don't need to clean it or maintain it, and it will last at least as long as the barrel, probably much longer. But of course,
yeah,
all AR barrels will be shot out someday.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you guys know, the barrel is a 4150 CMV barrel. It uses Armornite, which is our salt bath nitride treatment. So super hard barrel, and then the gas block itself is 4140. Also armor-nited as well. So these are, very, very robust components.
So the G-Vac system is going to be initially available as a complete upper?
Yeah, it's going to be as a complete upper without the charging handle, because we fully intend that, people are putting these into a build, or they're replacing the upper on a rifle that they already have, and chances are they already have a charging handle.
And then do you have an MSRP for the G-Vac system as it comes?
So the 16-inch upper is going to MSRP at about $850. The others will be in and around that area, and we're going to be adding uppers in the future: 11.5, 5.56, 14.5, 5.56, 300 blackout, and others as consumer demand consumer demand dictates.
And so those ETM muzzle devices are set up for pin and weld, so you could do a 14.5 pin and weld down the line. Mm-hmm. Tempting.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice work.
So initially be available as a complete upper. Is there a possibility of like just build kits that are barrel and gas block, or possibility of complete rifles coming down the line as well?
Yes, that's certainly a possibility. We want to make this technology basically available to the suppressed or unsuppressed shooter, because if you're suppressing an AR, we really believe that this is the thing you want, because it actually solves the issue of gas blowback at the source, which is the barrel and gas system. Everything else is just trying to put a Band-Aid on, a system that was set for a certain amount of parameters and, fulfills those parameters. But, as we've adopted, as shooters and as a shooting community with the types of gear and, what we're running, the platform has to be, improved, along with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anthony, for walking us through the fine nerd details of all that stuff, which I think people will be very interested in. Thanks a lot for telling us all about it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming out.
Excellent. Stay tuned, guys. See you next time. TFBTV.